when did you first start smoking weed, and how was that first experience?
Oh, let's see here. I have a pretty cool first time experience. I started smoking weed. This would be when I started grad school. So we're talking like 2012, I think,
Mm-hmm.
summer of 2012. And I had just finished in chiropractic school. You do trimesters. So
Yeah.
you get like, there's no summers and you do 3 semesters a year. And you have like a week off in between each trimester. And after my first trimester, I went camping with a couple of my buddies on an island off the coast of Michigan. It's
Mm.
called a Manitou Island. And we went out there and we were camping for 3 days. And at that point, I'd never smoked weed, but my brother and two of my friends went and all of them smoked.
Right.
And they had been trying to convince me for years. My dad also went. So as the story went, we were sitting around the campfire just drinking that first night. And my dad went to lay down in the tent and he snores super loud. And I was having a really hard time sleeping that night despite having drank a little bit around the campfire. So they had all smoked weed and they still had some on them. So I actually went to my brother. I was like, dude, I can't sleep with my dad snoring like this. I'm going to actually try it right now. So we went and kind of like relit the campfire and stayed up late. And I smoked my first joint with them around that campfire and I slept like a baby. And after that, I was basically like, this is pretty cool. Calms me down, helps me sleep. And I'm more or less like nowadays, I smoke basically every single day, dawn till dusk, at least in some effect.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
I think, I started I started with K2 and Spice because my
Oh,
sister was working at Walmart at the time, right? And couldn't get like drug reported, so that's what was available and it was legal at the time and whatever. And so I started there and it was okay. Like it wasn't bad, right? But once I found real weed by goth chick who was like, "You want to go smoke weed in my car?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's go do that." Like it's way better than whatever we're doing. And anyway, so Colin in the chat, I see.
what's up,
Um,
Colin?
right. I
Love
think
that
we
guy.
got Warren's here. He's just not using the right chat. Indy Left's here. All the fams here. But yeah, once I found real weed, it was like that was it. And like where I used to live, Live Oak, we had like 3 interstates that like met up like right there in the town. The town was essentially like you got off to get on another interstate, right? And so the drug traffic in there was incredible, right? I could actually get real weed there, which was fantastic, right? But they yeah, that was my first one, and then it was essentially self-medicated until I got diagnosed with ADHD as an adult, and then realized I could it actually does help, right? So,
Yeah.
but got my medical card recently in Florida, which is super sweet, right? Everything's twice as expensive as it needs to be, but that's okay. I
Yeah.
think I paid like $50 for like 3.5 grams of this orange juice here.
That's not too bad, but yeah, that's a
Yeah,
little
a little
pricey.
high, but like it'll come down eventually. Like I'm not worried about it, right? You
Yeah,
know.
I lived in Colorado for 4 years or three
What
years
part?
after I worked in Boulder and I lived
Okay.
in Loveland, which is north by Fort Collins.
Yeah.
And it out there has gotten down to like 10 a gram, basically what you would pay on the street nowadays. I mean, it
My
depends on the dispensary and what like
uncle
level you want.
my uncle over there, head of the gang unit over there in Pueblo, Colorado City, was part of that.
Yep.
And when weed got legal over there, it was like he was like, "Oh, it's way easier. Like I don't have to worry about that anymore as a cop. Like that's
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
good."
for sure.
You know.
Colorado is a haven, man. I loved it
Yeah.
out there. You know, I miss it for a lot of that stuff. Although it is like legal in Illinois now where I live, it's a lot more expensive. There's not as much variety. It's lower quality, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we'll get there eventually. Every state's
Yep.
going to do it. You know,
Yep.
it's overwhelmingly popular with Americans. It's crazy that
When I
Joe
think
Biden hasn't legalized it already.
I don't know about you, but a lot of the stoners I've talked to, they sometimes get stuck in the older ways of like stonerdom, right? Of like, man, that shit's from California, man. Like, or they're fucking stuck in like, this Alaska shit, bro, is the best shit. It's just like, yo, like, what's the strain name? What percentage? What like, you know, what are we? It's the region doesn't make a good weed. Good weed is good weed, like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and depending on where it's grown, like
yeah,
if it's a strain that's from Alaska or that's like
right,
higher up from a colder place, but you try to
yeah,
grow it near the equator, it'll
it's not
suck.
gonna
Trust me,
work as right.
I
Yeah,
yeah, I grew while I was out there too because you can grow 6 plants. So
yeah,
I've been growing for like 6 years now, and they out there you could get something that's like Alaskan thunderfuck, but it
yeah.
doesn't grow terribly well in
Down
Colorado.
here,
You got to get something that like it's at the same, what is that, latitude, so like, or longitude, I can't remember. I'm stoned.
yeah,
But yeah, the depending on where you grow it naturally or where the seed comes from also affects the weed too. So
yeah.
I just go with, and I don't even care about the THC content. I've had stuff that's like 18% THC that'll knock
And
you
it
flat.
knock you out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's in Colorado, I actually saw a Blue Dream strain that was 37% THC. That's the highest I've ever fucking
Jesus.
seen. And it, believe it or not, it wasn't even all that good. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like an average weed. It looked like
Well,
a
it's
crystal, but
yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like with THC content like that, you also have to worry about like the CBDs that are blocking it and all that stuff. And you know, when you get into the molecular, you know, chemistry of all the shit, it gets pretty weird. But you know, I think that's like I think I've seen 40% somewhere. Like I know there's crazy ones out there that are like
that's super
you know,
high. That's I've
right.
never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, plus at that point, just distill it and like, you know, pull some butane through it and let it sit and whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna give you the recipes, but you know, like that's how you
Yep.
do it. But no, I mean, weed at this point like has become like we've it's nice to be able to shift from like only your dealer having whatever he has to now being able to go to the store and like buy whatever is there, you know.
Yep.
It's
Definitely.
super nice. Like
I'm definitely more of a sativa dude.
I had normally I am too, right? Well, like it's weird for me, I'm supposed to have like all three essentially, right? But like with ADHD, you're supposed to do sativa for anxiety and stuff in the morning, and then like indicas at night to help get to sleep and whatever. But you know, most of us are like have used indica for long enough because it's what's been available, right? That it's like most of us old hats still function even then. It depends on the one, but I took like I don't know, like 20 milligrams of indica a second ago, so we'll see how that goes. That was like at like an hour ago, so it'll probably be kicking in pretty soon. So
so you're gonna fall asleep in the middle of this.
Hopefully not. That's I've got sativa in here just to balance it out, right? You've got to like you got to just ride the line there. But yeah, I mean, I love that stuff. As far as like once I found it, it was just like, oh, this is the stuff that works. I appreciate it. It lets you brain slow down and stuff like that, which when it's going a mile a minute like mine is nice, you know.
Yeah.
But but yeah,
I like to
Colorado's
keep both on hand, man. I like to keep
Yeah.
both on hand. I usually it's sativa most of the day, and then right before bed I'll do something
do an
heavy.
indica or whatever. Yeah.
My wife is exactly the well, not the opposite, but she just kind of an indica gal all day long.
Yeah.
And that's how she functions best. But if I start in the morning with one of those, I immediately want to go like sit on the couch, and it doesn't bode well for like if I want to go mow the lawn or do laundry or something like that. So we try to keep both, and we got a hybrid sativa and an indica. So
I mean, I wonder what like, dude, Joe Rogan has to be like IV'd sativa at this point, because that guy's doing way too much shit to have any indica